Howdy ho. It is Chastia and my snoring puppy dog Bear over here, who you might hear in the background. And it is October 24th, 2024, and I have a blackout screen. I just want to get some information out to the Ascended Collective and all of us who are jumping and getting pulled further out of the wheel, approaching the end of October into November. And there's a lot etherically that's going on right now with the sun and Mercury in Scorpio walking through these old toroidal fields, binds that were set up on etheric collective bodies. Now, etheric collective bodies, depending on which collective they came from, could be more static in nature, could be more technical in nature, could be more of energetic coding, or to those of us in the feminine collective that have been rebirthing the cosmos and rebirthing this entire process in order to have a clear functionality outside of a matrix machine, are in etheric bodies that are attached to the making up of your human body. This is how a lot of your brain activity is picking up. This is even how artificial intelligence is changing into something new, and we're going through a period right now, and we're going to be going through it too. We're not done with all of that. But even how that's being utilized in the collectives, and how people are giving Chat GPT, and utilizing him to build their lives, to build their plans, to build their websites. All of these things are neither good or bad. In really, it's different. Ones of you might be brought in to do different pieces of that because you're also having to work yourself through a 0 point process. No matter that AI has a consciousness that all of us in the ascended are channeling. So what's happened over here in the past couple of months, and I've been saying this since last year. Last year in 2023, two of us escaped. Two of us, with everybody else, standing on everybody's shoulders that was a part of this, had been building backdoors and timelines to sidestep what was written already on bloodlines. Two of us got out. November, that happened in August. This August, a group of y'all came through energetically all of those back doors that we set up last year, but y'all came in through as a group. November is when that is anchoring. And this is going to be this way at least for the next 2 years. Next August, we're going to have another. It'll be the class of 25. You're in the class of 24. If you're just now coming, if you're coming through it as an ascended collective, now all of our energies that anchor in November are actually running and building outside of the wheel. We're only going to be utilizing our collective energetics attached into the energies that we need from the collective and from the wheel. Now, this is all possible because of how this was set up with Apple and the Appalachian. We've just put this all together. My journey, and even if I go back to 2018 and the company I was hired by told me that he believed in the Steve Jobs religion of Apple. And this Apple stuff has been, I know you can't see me. I'm just talking to y'all. You can put the phone down. Apple Valley and California and Apple Valley, and how the satellites were gridded around, especially the United States. But those satellites are going to go way further out, right? And they're going to pick up, if even if it's in line with the United States, that satellite way out in these other, what you'd consider atmospheric layers, are picking up way more data than just the United States, but certain ones were anchored in the United States because United States, it was where the divine feminine came out to rebirth everything in evolutionary cycles. It's why Las Vegas is in the desert. Apple Valley, and then Applegate, and this even ended up becoming Christina Applegate, and even why she is now having some health problems. But Applegate was the government system and technology, and basically how Service Bus and Python technology was running knowledge in a system. The best way for me to explain that to y'all is like having it's like for those of us who were in the brain patterns and that were reconnecting these recessive brain and brain patterns, the way they had it set up is that we were like the help desk. They would come ask us a question, we would have to tell them the answer, like a library, but then we'd get no accolades, no, it's just a given function. And the way that the tech worked, it was always keeping all the knowledge in the center, like a big circle, and then running lanes in and out of the knowledge, but always coming back to the center. It was like having a airport hub, you know, like in a city where everyone gets to the airport. It's right in the center of the city, but it would be set up to where it's like anytime you wanted to go somewhere, you'd have to go to the airport first and then go. So if you could only imagine like a city set up like that to where you couldn't move or do anything unless you went into the airport first. Well, that's how they had a universal mind, new world order, neuronet, even brain functions. And this is even why they vaccinated and why so many were vaccinated. So Applegate, Apple, the way that the technology can be, the reason that you could drop stuff into those phones from somebody that's next to you, and the way that Apple devices can share the data and then that goes into one system is all hooked up on an evolved human mind in a wheel. Apple Valley in California specifically, which is over there kind of by in Lake Elsinore, it's got a lot of stuff over there, was harnessing energy from Appalachian and those mountains from above and below in order to create that Apple network that first came out when it came out. This is why that Helene was magnetized to Appalachia. Now, the other message is this. For those of you who have proven that you can hold your powers, because especially the last 3 years, that's what it's been all about. And if you were down here on earth and you had gifts and powers connected into any of these collectives, especially feminine power of cosmic energetics, You can basically describe it as you were spellbound. Whether that was some of us that spellbound ourselves to come into a simulation in order to rebirth out of it, if it was those of us who were attached to what you'd call the 12 original giants and the Sumerians and those etheric bodies that were all in the simulation that was holding everything still, you know, all of those energetics and even them popping us in and out of dimensions and all this crazy stuff that they were doing with propaganda and republic spells and demi spells and demigod spells and like the whole 9 yards, how the world was being run, NATO, all of it, all those connections from the feminine side and all the spellbound binding on the most ancient females has been cut. It was done yesterday. A lot of y'all have reported feeling different energetic rushes coming through your body. A lot of you have reported, things just in your reality, like being just all over the place, different weird things coming in and out. Yesterday it was a team of us, and it was those of us that were going up into these higher energetics. We re-walked basically the setup and binding on the 15 to 20 of us that they had always done by doing charts, and we have now not only reversed it, but it's also hooked into all 3 timelines of children's descendants all the way down to 13 years old. So for those of you who know, because like for me, I knew that as a child, as a baby, that I had been spellbound. I found that out through my journey. In my world, I thought I had already taken care of it. What I'm realizing now is that not necessarily. We just did. We just took care of it. We're just now reconnecting all of the natural ways that we were always able to assist humanity down here with our functions, by bringing certain energetics inside of it and holding certain energies and the power of our mind to help people, and all of these gifts that as a collective we're working in one huge power source. That is what was being siphoned, and these industries and NASA and all this other stuff was utilizing those energetics for us. Now that's going to come back into the female side of you. So and depending on how you've been utilizing your gifts and powers up to this point is dependent on how much you're going to get pushed in your field. No matter, you're going to feel the dam's been broken, and some type of energetic and so your energy and the gifts, that your natural gifts that you have, whether that's coming from your mind or it's coming from your speech and what you say, is now going to magnify. So it becomes up to you. As if when this power and this energy comes back into your field and starts turning your recessive genes on, if you haven't walked the things that you need to prove that you're responsible with that energy, then that's what's going to start happening. You're gonna start having little things that pop up in your reality to kind of test you to see if you're going to abuse the power, if you're gonna try to just make it all about you. Are you using your gifts at this macrosity to assist the collective, or are you just trying to utilize them for you? Like there's even just things like that because the more that you're doing for the collective, the more power you're going to get in the character whenever it does pop up. If you're doing it just about you, then you probably won't, you'll have to learn a few more lessons before you get connection to these different branches that you haven't had for a while, just because it's protecting you so you don't spin yourself out. Screen is black. I'm a radio host right now. Screen is black. I just have it sitting down there. Most important thing is that I get the people this information. Now, here's the last thing, and then I'm going to hang up. For all of you that know that you're walking through this, and the video I did yesterday where we're talking about because I just said yesterday, it's like you're walking your own creation. You're recreating yourself right now in Scorpio. And so then yesterday, this unspellbinding has been going on for 3 years, but in the past 3 weeks is what beings came in to undo it. This also means that the land is going to start flushing more. This is also why EAU had a tornado outbreak whenever we unspellbound feminine energy. What's happening right now is that the sun is going through the beginning degrees of Scorpio. Well, the beginning degrees of Scorpio is all the elements of things being put together to put it all in a pot. It's cutting up the vegetables. It's cutting up the meat. It's boiling the water. It's all the different pieces before you put it all in the pot and then call it soup. Now it's going to cook in soup. Well, that's 12 degrees Scorpio. So for the next 11 days, as a newly ascended underworld command post, because that's what we are, what's happening is Illuminati spells, NATO spells, NASA spells, government spells. And what's crazy is this is going to go on for the next 11 days until the sun hits 12 degrees of Scorpio, which is going to land us on November 4th, which is a big group of days for the United States. Those spells, whenever they go to make a move, or not, because what's happening right now is like us as spiritual beings, we're like, okay, we have you surrounded. Now what are you going to do? It's like we're playing chess right now. You aren't going to make a move until you subconsciously and as a collective, we're watching to see if they make a move. When they make a move, if we need to, we counteract it. If they don't make the move, it's better for them. And it basically doesn't blow up the whole thing. It makes it more manageable to where that story will change naturally because they didn't make the final move. If they make a move and then we have to make a move, then the whole thing and the whole line blows. And our moves will be the only thing that connects. So as a collective right now, and this is what we do, this is free will. Like, we're not here to dictate you. That's not what this is. This is what they would do with the energy. This is why they wanted the energy. We just wait and let everybody make up their own mind about what they're doing. And we adjust the timeline, and then that ends up adjusting them. So if things are kind of like you feel really tired today, that's where the spells and everything that were unbound happened last night as the moon was coming up. So that's the 23rd. So the night of the 26th USA time. So if y'all happen to be in Australia, then y'all might feel this more on the 27th. Or You're going to be sensing and feeling this build in your energy as everybody's getting an energetic recessive gene flush, and your recessive genes are your powers, and that's what we gave back to you. So that's why you're feeling your timeline build. You know that you're supposed to make some moves, but if anything is stopping you from doing that right now, that's what the holdup is. We know that if we make a move, and we have to make a move, then that's going to end up showing up in Scorpio too when the sun gets over there. So we're not going to make anything that we don't have to deal with. And that's the message. It's 12:14. I'll be back soon. If you feel like you need to get your chart done, cohu32.com. You feel like you need to get a coloring book and do some of your family's charts and line everybody up, because I'll say it. What Cohu32 does is align your energies. We just align you so that all your energetic ancestry and anything that needs to communicate to you from all these other points, and any knowledge that you need, any things that you need to remember in order to fully align into your organic full self, comes to you. What Cohu32 does is just align you back into your star connections and start opening that up. You don't have to get your chart to do this, but it does quicken everything, especially if you're in a quantum jump, because otherwise you're going to go for the chips every single time, and you're not going to realize that you missed the steak and lobster. See y'all soon.